What's up, peeps? It's me, Kimberly Purpose. This time I wanted to do something different on my blog. I wanted to do something about some of the things that's going on in the news that I've noticed, and I sort of had to get my point of view, across on this issue about Bruce Jenner and also Rachel Dolezal. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly and everything. But those two issues, I guess it wouldn't be issues, it's identity issues that these people have, made me want to do a blog on it. And I got my point of views and my opinion and intake, and of course it's my first time trying to do a commentary, so well, I won't say commentary, I've done it before. But anyway, getting off the subject, and for all y'all who don't know, I got a master's degree in psychology. My background is in psychology, and I'm a supervised therapist right now. I'm in the process of getting my license as a counselor. So this topic really fascinated me about gender identity and racial identity, which is something new, relatively new. And I sort of want to touch on that. As far as Bruce Jenner goes, what I think about transsexuals. Personally, I think that a person should be who they believe they should be. I believe too that I do believe there's something to what they're saying. A lot of when I had some transsexuals come through the counseling center where I work, clients who over the years who have suffered from sexual or gender, not sexual, but gender identity. They sometimes feel like they were born, even though they might have been one gender, male or female, they might have been one gender, but they always feel in their mind and inside that they always should have been another gender, whether male or female. So for instance, if you're a female, you may feel like you should have been a male, and if you are a male, you may feel like you should have been born, you always felt like you were female. And I believe that, you as a person, you're born with your own body, with your own mind and everything. I believe there might be some truth to that. I really do. After taking the class on cognitive neuroscience, it made me realize a lot about the brain and everything and how it's formed during development. I believe it might be some truth to that, because they're born with their own body. They would know for themselves how they feel about what gender they may be. I do believe that culture and upbringing, your background and everything has a contributing part. But I also believe that it could be during the formation, while you were in your mother's womb, that maybe something may have went wrong, where your brain, is one of the organs that's first developed, and one of the many organs, beginning stages organs that's developed during the fetus stage. Maybe it started to be a male, you might have started to be one gender, and then the body might not match up with the brain. Well, that's my theory. So I'm going on a tangent, but I wanted to share with you all the book that we have to do diagnoses on. A lot of psychologists and even psychiatrists or counseling professionals who are licensed and state qualified for being able to do diagnosis on patients use this book on the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders. And this is the 5th edition, the DMS-5. This is the current edition so far. And I had to look up on this topic about gender identity, and there is a section on gender identity that talks about transsexuals and cross-dressers, or that's actually inside the book. And then I also want to mention that there's been some studies and research done on brain science, cognitive neuroscience, on the study on gender identity, and there's new things constantly coming up, and that scientists and researchers are finding out about gender identity and everything. So, and like I said, I believe it's some truth to that, and they will know better than they have, and it's Mr. Jenner now is Miss Jenner. I think it's Caitlyn. Yeah, Caitlyn, and he's happy now. She's happy now. Now I gotta correct myself. She is now happy. She waited her whole lifetime to come out. I believe that's very courageous, and with society, with people being very judgmental, he came out and decided to view his opinion about, to express himself and who he feel like he should have been from birth. So, like I said, that's my view on gender, transgenders, and especially when in a psychological background, you have to be open-minded. So that's what my take is on it. I believe that it does, there's some truth to how they feel. I believe that neuroscience is starting to shed more light into that topic, and that is some truth to it. So that's what I believe is a physiological condition, or and it's actually in the Diagnostic book. So it's definitely being used. Now, as far as Miss Rachel Dolezal about identifying as a woman, my views on that is this is something relatively new about being what she calls it transracial. I think she intrigues me as well. I don't like the fact that she was dishonest about her racial identity, but I do commend her on what she has done for blacks, African Americans in the community. I think, I read about her and some of the things she has done, and I'm quite impressed. And her learning more about the African history and African American culture and teaching it, and I am fascinated with her, and I think she might be beginning stages of people starting to decide on what ethnicity do they identify with. I think she is really ignited a topic that is starting to be more and more of a topic, because who do you identify with, and is it really necessary? That's my question, because as far as I'm concerned, there's only one race, that's the human race. We all are human beings, and we just come in different shades, and it's all beautiful no matter what spectrum it is. So that's my take on it. But as far as her, I didn't like the dishonesty. I think she should have been more truthful. And I do believe that, she probably still would have done well. I don't know if she would have made it as high as she did in the NAACP, but I think that she would still have gone far, especially with all the work she's done in the community and everything. And I do think she's starting on to something. She sort of is on to something. It's not that what she mentioned is transracial is not mentioned in this Diagnosis book. It might be, I don't see it in there. Maybe it might be something new they might add to a new edition as far as mental health diagnoses and stuff. So I don't know. I do not know. But I think it's a growing trend, because people live in different neighborhoods, different cultures, different upbringings, and so people I've seen, if a black person grew up in a white neighborhood, they might be a predominantly white neighborhood, they might relate more to a white person as opposed to a black person, because they've been around white people. So culture does have a great impact in shaping a person's mind and mindset. So I can see that as well. And it's just a lot to think about. And then, of course, when you look at here in the United States, a lot of people are married interracially, and it's not uncommon for people to grow up in different neighborhoods and different cultures, different backgrounds, speaking different languages and everything, to see other and understand other cultures more so than their own. And also, too, nobody in this country is completely pure. Now, if especially being here for generations and generations and generations, you're gonna find something in that DNA makeup, and you might not be completely 100% one race. So that include white people, black people, Asians. If you've been here hundreds of years and everything, with the trend going where people are marrying more and more interracially, you're going to see more and more people trying to figure out where do they identify, who they identify with. And she is sort of like the beginning stages of, well, who do I identify with? And you start to wonder, is it really necessary to identify with one race over the other? And with people becoming more biracial, and with people with mixed heritage, it's becoming more and more harder for people to decide what ethnicity to be with, especially biracial people. But she's not biracial, she's all white, and supposedly, but I don't know, she darkened her skin darkened naturally, so she might have a little black in her, who knows. Rachel, go ahead and do a test of your DNA. What do you call it? Ancestry.com. I'm thinking about doing one myself, but and trace your roots. Who knows? You may see some black in there. You never know. Because like I said, we are all human beings, and we can learn from each other. A lot from each other, believe me. Everybody's culture is unique and beautiful, and there's some good and some bad, but we can learn from each other. And like I said, there's only one race, and I'm hoping that one day during my lifetime we'll be able to see that there's only one race, the human race. With the church bombing and everything, that brings tears to my eyes. But I'm going off on another topic. I'm thinking about that. I'll probably do another video, about the people dying, and I believe it was South Carolina, or was it North Carolina? I think it was South Carolina. But anyway, this race thing is nothing. But right now, I believe there is a difference between the two, Rachel, and as far as Miss Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn's, I think, is more dealing with physiology. As far as gender identity, I believe it's been proven more and more with science, and neuroscience in particular, that there might be something really there. And as far as racial, I believe it's more of a cultural thing as far as Rachel's standpoint. And I believe that has an impact too in how a person perceives themselves. And I believe too, as time go on, it's going to be more and more of an issue for a lot of people who grew up in certain areas, and maybe especially with people who are mixed race and heritage, it's already becoming an issue for them. Some people have a hard time deciding which one, but she's not mixed heritage, so she don't fit that category. I think hers is a clash of culture and upbringing, so it's not the same to me. That's my take on it. I don't think Jenner's, Caitlyn Jenner's, is the same thing as what Rachel is going through. I think it's similar, but not quite the same. I think hers may be more cultural based, and I think Jenner's is mostly physiology based. Especially with the new stuff going on in science. But who knows? Maybe neuroscience will find something else in a person's brain makeup for racial, but I don't know. I don't know if I can say that right now. I think it's sort of a difference, It's definitely a difference between the two. So I would love to hear your take on it, you guys. I'm going on and on and on. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you do. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Until next time, peace and be blessed. Bye bye.